Good morning. Welcome to another One Mind meditation. It is Saturday morning. We are in the weekend. Our teacher this week is Thich Nhat Hanh with a really beautiful message this morning. His message is, when the tea becomes real, you become real. When the tea becomes real, you become real. What the heck does that mean? Well, let's get into Thich Nhat Hanh's message for us today. Anthony, good evening. Somebody, good morning. Awesome having you right here. We are often on some kind of autopilot, going through the motions in our work, in our relationships, being more connected to the fears and insecurities in our minds than to the actual actions that we're busy taking. Good morning, Michelle. Good morning, Linda. Happy Saturday. I hope that you are enjoying the weekend. So this thought from Thich Nhat Hanh says, first, let us light the torch of our awareness and learn again how to drink tea, how to eat, how to wash dishes, walk, sit, drive, and work in awareness. We do not have to be swept along by circumstances. We are not just a leaf or a log in a rushing river. With awareness, each of our daily acts takes on a new meaning, and we discover that we are more than machines, that our activities are not just mindless repetitions. We find that life is a miracle, the universe is a miracle, and we too are a miracle. He describes this beautifully when he says, each time you look at a tangerine, you can see deeply into it. You can see everything in the universe in one tangerine. When you peel it and smell it, it's wonderful. You can take your time eating a tangerine and be very happy. Charlene, good morning. Happy Saturday. If we are not mindful, then it is not the tea that we are drinking, but our own illusions and afflictions. If the tea becomes real, we become real. When we are able to truly meet the tea, at that very moment we are truly alive. Drink your tea slowly and reverently, as if it is the axis on which the world revolves. Slowly, evenly, without rushing toward the future. Peace, happiness, and joy is possible in the time that I drink my tea. If we are not mindful, then it's not really the tea that we are drinking. We don't even really taste it because we are mindlessly lifting the cup to our mouth. We're still much more involved with our inner illusions and afflictions than with the contents of this cup. My favorite line of his is, when the tea becomes real, we become real. Because in that moment, we have stepped out of our patterns and into presence, potentially making ourselves available to what this moment presents to us. This is, of course, not just about tea, but about everything we do. We so easily siphon off our energy to the future or the past, where we have no agency at all, leaving us with less energy to apply ourselves right here in this moment where we are creating the future. So if you're ready, our meditation today is called Come to Your Senses. It is just the experience that Thich Nhat Hanh speaks about. Taking a moment to become aware, bringing our awareness to exactly what's happening right here, right now. Not because it's so important that we know what we're smelling and tasting, but it's important that we pull ourselves out of autopilot and into the actions that we're busy taking. So if you're ready, you can close your eyes and let's float away together, starting with the first few big breaths. Let's take a deep breath in and out. Take a deep breath in and out. A deep inhale. And let it go. Take a deep breath in. And out. One more big breath in. And let it all flow away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you do, stretch out your spine. Lift the top of your head toward the ceiling. And once you've reached your full height, let all of it go. As you exhale, soften. As you breathe out, soften your spine, slump down your shoulders, and drop your head. Our journey today is all about checking in with this body. And while you continue your full body breathing, we'll start this journey. First off, with your next exhale, check in with the area of your forehead, the space between your eyes. Do you sometimes catch yourself carrying a frown there? And in this moment, are you able to completely soften in that space between your eyes? With your next exhale, bring your attention to the area in and around your mouth. Do you sometimes find yourself grinding your teeth? Or find that you're pushing your tongue hard against the roof of your mouth? Or your jaw muscles clenched tightly? In this moment, have you been able to completely soften everything in and around your mouth? With your next exhale, bring your attention to the area in and around your shoulders. Do you sometimes find your shoulders pulled up high, almost level with your ears? And in this moment, are you able to completely soften them and feel them hanging loosely off the sides of your body? With your next exhale, bring your attention to your abdomen. That's where tension can hide the most effectively. Feel your abs. Are you able to soften them completely right now? With your next exhale, bring your attention to your butt cheeks. Are you clenching? Or have you completely softened there? And lastly, bring your attention to your arms and legs, and specifically your hands. Do you sometimes find them clenched into tight fists? And in this moment, are they lying half open in your lap? We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, helping our bodies further stretch, adjust, and settle down into as much comfort as possible for the rest of our journey. Let's take a deep breath in. As you release, drop your head all the way forward and roll out your neck muscles, going forward and to the left, and also forward and to the right. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders forward in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big circles, nice and slow. Take a deep breath in. As you release, focus on your spine. You can lean your upper body over to the left and also lean your upper body over to the right. One more big breath in. And as you release, you can stretch or move or adjust any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. Having softened our bodies into a state of presence, or at least as much as we are able to, we can now turn our attention inwards and dive deep inside for the next part of our journey. If you don't have the time to sit for the whole meditation with us, then this is a really good place to stop. But if you are here for the whole journey, then with every next inhale, we'll hold our breath for a few short moments, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. Let's take a deep breath in. And hold. As you release, feel how softness enters in and settles in every part of your body. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, follow the downwards flow through your body. Feel your shoulders slowly falling. Feel your body slowly softening. And feel how you are slowly slipping deeper into you. One more big breath in. And hold. And as you release, feel yourself melting. Feel your whole body dissolving. Feel how you are slipping into a deeper level of surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose is an invitation. It invites you to turn inwards and to follow this journey. As you breathe in, feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throat. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Hold your breath, but hold it only for as long as it feels easy, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, our journey is about really asking this body to show us what experience it is having. So as you take your next big breath and dive deep inside, take a moment to acknowledge this body. Perhaps even wrap your arms around this body and say, "Hello, body. It's so good to have you." Take your next big breath. The journey of our senses starts at the top and works its way through our body. The first stop is your eyes. For this exercise, we won't open our eyes, we'll keep them closed and see with our mind. But as you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, the question is, what would be the most obvious thing that you would see if you were to open your eyes? And now with your mind, find that obvious thing and study it from all its angles. See all of its color and see if you can find all of its texture. Keep your mind focused. Try and not let your mind wander off while you do this. Take your next big breath. We'll change gears, and with your next big breath as you dive deep into you, we're still sticking to what we can see, but this time the question is, what would be the least obvious thing in your room? If you were to open your eyes and look around, what would be the least obvious thing that you would see? And this time, as you take a deep breath, as you dive deep inside, study this less obvious object. See it from all of its angles, see all of its color, and find all of its texture. Take your next big breath. We'll take a step down to your ears and what you can hear. And with your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, the question is, what is the most obvious thing you hear? And now listen deep into that sound. And see if you can detect different sounds or different layers to that sound. Try and keep your mind focused on listening to this sound. Your mind will likely want to wander, and that is totally normal. That's what our minds do, but your task is to not let your mind go on autopilot. When your mind wanders, bring it back to awareness. Awareness of this sound you are listening deep into. Take your next big breath. We're still staying with what you can hear, We're just changing gears. So with your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, bring your attention to the faintest sound that you can hear. What is just barely a whisper? And see if you can amplify your hearing to take in all of this whisper. And again, try hard not to let your mind go on autopilot. Keep your awareness with what you are hearing and listen deep into it. Take your next big breath. For the next 2 stops, change your breathing to whatever needs to be for you to smell and taste. So for the next stop, as you take a deep breath and as you dive deep into you, bring your attention to whatever obvious smell you can find. Is there any obvious smell that you can pay attention to right now? Your mind may wander, but your task is to bring it back when it does. Don't let your mind go on autopilot undetected. Notice when it does and return to paying attention to whatever obvious smell you can find. Take your next big breath. And then we'll change gears. As you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, bring your attention to whatever other smell you can find. Is there anything else besides the first obvious smell that you're able to detect? Take your next big breath. Our next stop is what you can taste. So with your next big breath, bring your attention to whatever taste it is you can find. Do you find any obvious taste? And once again, your mind will likely be tempted to wander away from paying attention to taste. Your task is to notice when that happens. Notice when your mind wanders. And just bring it back on task, not on autopilot, but on task. Take your next big breath. We'll change gears while we're sticking with what you can taste, but this time see if you can find anything else. Is there any other layer of taste that you can also pick up? Take your next big breath. We have one more stop to make, and that is the surface of your skin. So with your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, search the surface of your skin for the most obvious spot of sensation. And in that obvious spot, you are likely to find different sensations, different pressures. Can you describe them to yourself? Can you describe the different sensations you feel in this obvious spot? Once again, your mind may be tempted to wander away on autopilot. That is normal. You have a human brain, but your task is to catch it when it happens, to become aware of your mind wandering away so that you can return it to the task at hand. Take your next big breath. And then we'll dip back into that space one more time. As you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, search the surface of your skin to find for the slightest sensation. Is there anywhere on the surface of your skin where you can feel something that almost feels like the touch of a feather? So light, it's almost not there. Take your next big breath. We'll take just one more big breath together to slip out of the breath holding space and into the next. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel yourself slip all the way through. There is no more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back or even lie all the way back down and feel yourself just floating. Whatever is on autopilot is also in survival mode. Which is why when we're not being present and our mind slips off on autopilot, we become completely involved in fears and anxieties about the future and the past. And even while we might be physically taking action, very little of our energy is actually involved in the physical action we're taking. So much of our energy is siphoned off into the past or the future, purely because our mind has slipped away on autopilot. I'll read to you again in Thich Nhat Hanh's words. First, let us light the torch of our awareness and learn again how to drink tea, eat, wash dishes, walk, sit, drive, and work in full awareness. We do not have to be swept along by circumstances. We are not just a leaf or a log in a rushing river. With awareness, each of our daily acts takes on a new meaning, and we discover that we are more than machines, that our activities are not just mindless repetitions. We find that life is a miracle, the universe is a miracle, and we too are a miracle. Each time you look at a tangerine, you can see deeply into it. You can see everything in the universe in one tangerine. When you peel it and smell it, it's wonderful. You can take your time eating a tangerine and be very happy. If we are not mindful, then it is not the tea that we are drinking, but our own illusions and afflictions. If the tea becomes real, we become real. When we are able to truly meet the tea, at that very moment, we are truly alive. Drink your tea slowly and reverently, as if it is the axis on which the world evolves. Slowly, evenly, without rushing toward the future. Peace, happiness, and joy is possible in the time that I drink my tea. His message, of course, is not trying to say that we should sit and just drink tea and eat tangerines all day. But it's a suggestion that we use these simple acts as reminders. Maybe have a bit of a daily ritual with our tea, or our coffee, or our tangerine, to remind us to not have our minds away on autopilot, but have our minds right here in the action we are busy taking. Take a moment to smell the tea. Feel the cup in your hands. Taste all of the layers of flavor in this tea. Because when the tea becomes real, I become real. And then after the tea is finished, when I get up, then apply the same awareness to my work. Apply the same awareness to my relationships. Apply the same awareness to the way I drive. When the tea becomes real, I become real. What a beautiful picture. We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you, and I invite you to say yours. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you for this beautiful moment with this cup of tea. Even if it was just in my mind, I appreciate the reminder. I can smell the tea. It's a cup of rooibos. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for this body and all of the physical sensations that it provides me. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for the reminder to have at least some kind of a daily habit to bring my awareness to these physical sensations as a reminder to catch in awareness those moments where my mind wanders off on autopilot. One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. Try it right now. Getting up from this meditation, go make yourself a cup of tea. Go make yourself a cup of coffee or whatever it is. And bring your awareness to every step of making that cup of tea, not just the drinking of it. Create a habit of bringing all of your attention to what it is you're taking action on, so that your mind becomes involved in all of the action you're taking. We do become better at catching our minds slipping away on autopilot. But we're human with human brains. Probably we'll never be able to never have our minds drift off. But what if we just get better at it? And we keep paying attention, and we just keep getting better at it. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Sunmarie. Thank you, Charlene. Hope you have a beautiful day. I hope you really enjoy that next cup of tea or coffee. See you soon. Ciao, ciao.